Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. So, the Disney streaming service, that is scheduled to launch in late 2019, so we're still a year and change away from it, and probably, hopefully, at least from a Star Wars perspective, they're going to give it a little bit of space away from Episode 9, so hopefully they launch in the early fall, not the late fall, because technically speaking, Episode 9 will be coming out late fall, probably like 5 days-ish or so before winter actually happens, but enough about the seasons and whatnot. Anyway, so the Disney streaming service, we still don't necessarily have any new details except for the fact that Disney, Pixar, Star Wars, and Marvel will be the brands anchoring the content. And as far as the Fox deal goes, the fact that Disney is trying to buy Fox and get all of their assets, which would include, of course, some Marvel assets, well, that's not going to play into anything. But they did say, at least there was an interview with Bob Iger where he said, as part of the deal where they're hoping to acquire Fox, that they would also end up acquiring 60% of the interest in Hulu, which is the TV streaming service. They do movies, of course, as well, and they have original content too. And Bob Iger says that Fox content would actually be kind of feeding what's happening over on Hulu, like original programming. Not that it would be exclusively a Fox product that would be driving some of the new stuff and some of the highlighted stuff on Hulu or anything like that, but just that it would be a significant part thereof. Now, what we also know, or at least what we have sort of been given a hint and intimation of, is that some of the things that are on services like, say, Netflix, for example, are going to start moving away from Netflix and heading over toward the Disney streaming service. So if you've been trying to watch things like the Clone Wars, say, for example, on Netflix, well, hey, better get through the series as quick as you can while you still have it. I guess it'll be available in the Disney series or streaming service anyway, so maybe it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other to you, but just in case you're concerned, it might be a good time to start binge watching it just in case. Now, as far as Star Wars itself goes, and the series that is going to be launched by Jon Favreau on this new streaming product, well, there are a few things that we know about it, and, it's not a lot, but it's enough to be intriguing. We know that it's going to be all new characters. We know that it's going to be set within an existing timeline in the Star Wars universe, but as far as who those characters are, what they're going to be up to, where in the galaxy this is going to be taking place, we don't necessarily know. The when, however, we actually do know. According to Jon Favreau, it's going to take place 7 years after the Battle of Yavin. So now you start having to do some math. 7 years after the Battle of Yavin makes it 3 years after Return of the Jedi, and so now you can start to piece this together a little bit. That means it's 2 years after the Battle of Jakku that resulted in the Galactic Concordance, where the Empire officially surrendered, and that would also mean that if it's 2 years after that, then little Ben Solo is 2 years old at the time that this series kicks off. And though I have not gotten into Last Shot, which is the collection, I mean, it's technically a novel, but since it takes place in a couple of different timelines, it's almost like a collection of novellas in a way, sort of in a way, but not necessarily in a way. Anyway, it actually sounds like it's taking place just a little bit before the events in Last Shot that take place at the far end of the timeline, because little Ben Solo is about 2.5 years old when Last Shot takes place, or certain elements of Last Shot take place. And Jon Favreau has been actually a lot harder at work on this than any of us might have realized. When he pitched the idea to Lucasfilm, he said that he actually had a number of scripts already developed for the show, 4 of them in fact, and that was something he included as part of his pitch. So, we thought that he had been significantly hard at work on things like, say, the Lion King live-action remake that's happening and coming soon, but I guess not so hard at work that he didn't have time to knock out a couple of scripts for a Star Wars series. So you imagine that he's got this stuff running in his brain, and that it's nonstop, basically. You just can't help but think of these ideas. And so even though he is wrapping this up, he's starting to get the trains running for whatever this new Star Wars live action series is that's happening in the fall of 2019, most likely. And that's what we've got for you so far to update you on Jon Favreau and the Star Wars live action series that is coming to Disney's streaming service. Over on the audio version of the podcast at sw7x7.com/iTunes, I'll be doing Last Jedi Trivia over there as a little bit of a bonus, so do check that out. Again, sw7x7.com/iTunes or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. But for now, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.